As intra-Afghan talks in Doha remain stalled, violence in Afghanistan has surged to new heights. While at one side, Afghan security forces are being targeted on a daily basis, journalists, lawmakers and doctors too are not safe in the country. Meanwhile, US top officials held separate meetings with the Afghan government and the Taliban amid the bloodshed. This constant rise in violence mars the hopes for ending the war that has ravaged Afghanistan since the 2001 attacks on the United States.
Already fragile health system of Afghanistan is facing a double setback amid COVID-19 crisis, as its doctors and healthcare workers are being targeted continuously. Recently, a roadside bomb killed at least 5 prison doctors and health workers in Kabul while they were on their way to the country's largest jail, Pule-Charki prison. 3 doctors, 2 of them women, were working to control the spread of the coronavirus in the jail. So far, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack. However, Taliban clearly denied its involvement.
یک سیاست داری خاک موج افتاده پشت سرش 2 نفر دیگه 3 نفر دمنه موتر یک نفر توتایش پریده بود از تنه نصف شده بود یولی چوب فروش افتاده بود.
Targeted killings of activists, journalists and government officials have been on the rise in Afghanistan to muzzle the voices of dissent and freedom. Recently, Afghan women's rights activist Freshta Kohistani was assassinated along with her brother by unknown gunmen in Kapisa province. The assassination comes a day after unknown gunmen killed Yusuf Rashid, CEO of Free and Fair Election Forum of Afghanistan in Kabul, along with his driver. Earlier, journalist Rahmatullah Nigsat was shot dead by unknown assailants in Afghanistan's central Ghazni province. The story of slain journalists is becoming all too familiar in the country. This is the 5th such murder in less than 2 months that shows how much unsafe the country has become for journalists. Since early November, a series of targeted armed attacks and bombings have claimed the lives of former Tolo News presenter Yama Shiawash, Radio Azadi reporter Elias Dai, Anycast TV anchor Malala Maiwand, and Ariana News presenter Fardeen Amini.
This tactic by the Taliban, or the strategy adopted by the Taliban, where it's targeting journalists, government officials and so on and so forth, I think has a multifold aim. First is to target all those who are creating a public opinion within Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan against the Taliban. So when you start targeting journalists, you create a climate of fear whereby nobody starts saying anything critical about the Taliban. The other part, targeting government servants, is basically to paralyze the government. So once the government is paralyzed, it's unable to function, chaos ensues, and it is in this chaos that the Taliban hopes to make a comeback, just as it did in 1996.
Earlier, a car bombing in Kabul targeting an Afghan lawmaker killed at least 9 people and wounded 20 others. Separate bombings were also reported in the provinces of Logar, Nangarhar, Helmand and Badakhshan, in which a number of civilians and security forces members were killed and injured. Afghanistan has seen a sharp rise in violence, particularly bombings, that too at a time when the country is trying to pursue peace. Most of the violence has been unleashed by the Taliban, and they are hoping to gain an upper hand in talks by keeping the country on edge. The Afghan Interior Ministry in a statement said that the Taliban had killed at least 500 civilians and injured 1,050 others by carrying out 37 suicide attacks and 510 blasts across the country over the past 3 months.
The Afghan government is pointing that out. Taliban as of now will not admit to it because they want to give the Americans a face saver. You see, if they said, yes, we are behind this particular violence, then the American claim that, the Taliban is not doing this becomes weaker, and therefore it is difficult for them to get out of Afghanistan. So this is a fig leaf that Pakistan, the Taliban is maintaining before the international community to claim some semblance of responsibility. We know that they are responsible, we know who their backers are, the Afghan government know who their backers are, but given the international conditions where the major powers want to quit Afghanistan, or at least want the Americans to quit Afghanistan, it is playing, so far it's been playing out very well for the Taliban that this fiction is not seriously contested by anybody, and I think this is to Afghanistan's detriment.
Afghan authorities say that the Taliban, merely by denying their involvement in the recent targeted killings, must not be absolved from such acts. They have so far failed to define their Islamic political system and have the same views they had 25 years ago about women, arts, elections, freedom of speech and human rights. Afghans inside the country have been pushing to preserve the gains the country has made in its move towards democracy over the past 2 decades. The Taliban has said that they will agree to a ceasefire only with an agreement on the structure of the future political system. However, the Afghan government is insisting that a ceasefire be put in place before talking about the government structure.